Core-data relationships. In this chapter, you are going to add tags to the photos in Photorama with labels. Users will be able to add one or more tags to photos and also create their own custom tags. Core data manages relationships between entities. Much of the power behind the core data comes to light when there are multiple entities that are related to one another. Relationships. Relationships between entities are represented by references between objects. There are two kinds of relationships, to-one and too-many. When an entity has a to-one relationship, each instance of that entity will have a reference to an instance in the entity it has a relationship to. When an entity has a to-many relationship, each instance of that entity has a reference to a set. Reopen the Photorama project. In Photorama data model, add another entity called tag. Give it an attribute called name of type string. Tag will allow users to tag photos. As the figure shows, a photo will have a reference to a set of tags, and a tag will have a reference to a set of photos. To add these two relationships to the model file, first select the tag entity and click the Add button in the Relationships section. Click in the Relationship column and enter Photos. In the Destination column, select Photo. In the Data Model Inspector, change the type dropdown from to-one to too-many. Next, select the photo entity. Add a relationship named tags and pick tag as its destination. In the Data Model Inspector, change the type dropdown to too-many and uncheck its optional checkbox. Now that you have two unidirectional relationships, you can make them into an inverse relationship. A relationship is a bidirectional relationship between two entities. With an inverse relationship set up between photo and tag, core data can ensure that your object graph remains in a constant state when any changes are made. To create the inverse relationship, click drop-down next to Inverse in the Data Model Inspector and change it from No Inverse Relationship to Photos. If you return to the tag entity, you will see that the photos relationship now shows tags as its inverse. Now that the model has changed for the photo entity, you will need to regenerate the photo plus core data properties.swift file. From the project navigator, select and delete the photo plus core data properties.swift file. Make sure to select Move to Trash when prompted. Open Photorama data model and select the photo entity. From the editor menu, select Create NS Managed Object subclass. On the next screen, check the box for Photorama and click Next. Check the box of the photo entity and click Next. Make sure you are creating the file in the same directory as the photo plus core data class.swift file. This will ensure that Xcode will only create the necessary photo plus core data properties.swift file. Once you have confirmed this, click Create. Adding tags to the interface. Let's update the interface to include a photo's associated tags. Open main.storyboard and navigate to the interface for Photo Info View Controller. Add a toolbar to the bottom of the view. Update the auto layout constraints so that the toolbar is anchored to the bottom just as it was in HomePoner. The bottom constraint for the image view should be anchored to the top of the toolbar instead of the bottom of the super view. Add a UI bar button on the toolbar if one is not already present, and give it a title of text. Create a new Swift file named TextViewController. Open this file and declare the TextViewController class as a subclass of UITableViewController. Import UIKit and core data in this file. Give the TextViewController class a property to reference the photo store as well as a specific photo. You will also need a property to keep track of the currently selected text, which you will track using an array of index path instances. The data source for the table view will be a separate class. Create a new Swift file named tagDataSource.swift. Declare the tagDataSource class and implement the TableViewDataSource methods. This class will be responsible for displaying the list of tags in the table view. Open PhotoStore.swift and define a new result type at the top for use when fetching tags. Now define a new method that fetches all the tags from the view context. Open TextViewController.swift and set the data source for the table view to be an instance of tagDataSource. Now fetch the tags and associate them with the tags property on the data source. The TextViewController needs to manage the selection of tags and update the photo instance when the user selects or deselects a tag. In TextViewController.swift, add the appropriate index paths to the selected index paths array. Now add the appropriate UITableView delegate methods to handle selecting and displaying the check markers. Let's set up TextViewController to be presented modally when the user taps the text bar button item on the photo info view controller. Open main.storyboard and drag a navigation controller onto the canvas. This should give you your navigation controller with a root view controller that is a UI table view controller. If the root view controller is not a UI table view controller, delete the root view controller, drag a table view controller onto the canvas, and make it the root view controller of the navigation controller. Control drag from the text item on photo info view controller to the new navigation controller and select the present modally segue tab. Open the attributes inspector for the segue and give it an identifier named showText. Select the root view controller that you just added to the canvas and open its identity inspector. Change its class to TextViewController. This view controller does not have a navigation item associated with it, so find the navigation item in the object library and drag it onto the view controller. Double-click the new navigation item's title label and change it to text. Next, the UI table view cell on the TextViewController interface needs to match what the tag data source expects. It needs to use the correct style and have the correct reuse identifier. Select the UI table view cell. Open its attributes inspector. Change the style to basic and set the identifier to UI table view cell. Now, the TextViewController needs two bar button items on its navigation bar, a down button that dismisses the view controller, and an add button that allows the user to add a new tag. Drag a bar button item to the left and right bar button item slots for the TextViewController. Set the left item to use the DOM style and system item. Set the right item to use the bordered style and add system item. Create and connect an action for each of these items to the TextView controller. The two methods in TextViewController.Swift is like this. When the user taps the Add item, an alert will be presented that will allow the user to type in the name for a new tag. The completion handler for the OK action to insert a new tag into the context. Then save the context, update the list of tags, and reload the table view section. Finally, when the tags bar button item on the Photo Info View controller is tapped, the Photo Info View controller needs to pass along its store and photo to the TextView controller. Open Photo Info View Controller.Swift and implement the prepare method. Build and run the application. Navigate to a photo and tap the tags item on the toolbar at the bottom. The TextView controller will be presented modally. Tap the Add item, enter a new tag, and select the new tag to associate it with the photo. Background tasks. The view context of NS persistent container is associated with the main queue. Because of this, any operations that take a long time will block the main queue, which can lead to an unresponsive application. Update the process photos request method in photostore.swift to use the background task, which is an asynchronous operation. Let's take a look at the code being using in the background task. The first thing that you are doing is getting an array of all the object IDs associated with the photo instances. This will be an array of string instances. Then you create a local variable to reference the view context. Finally, you map over photo IDs. The map method is useful abstraction for the common operation of converting one array into another array. The final change you need to make is to update fetch interesting photos to use the updated process photos request method. Build and run the application. Although the behavior has not changed, the application is no longer in danger of becoming unresponsive while new photos are being added. As the scale of your application increases, handling core data entities somewhere other than the main queue, as you have done here, can result in huge performance wins. Congratulations! Over the past 4 chapters, you have worked on a rather complex app. Photorama is able to make multiple web service calls, display photos in a grid, catch image data to the file system, and persist photo data using core data. To accomplish this, you use the knowledge that you have gained throughout this course, and you applied that knowledge to create an awesome app that is also robust and maintainable. It was hard work, and you should be proud of yourself. Now, our course is coming to an end. You have graduated. Thanks for your patience, and I wish you a better future in iOS development. It's up to you.